Subscribe and click the bell icon for the latest updates and notifications from the Indian Express.
India's first connected car. Well, that's precisely what all of us have been hearing about the Hyundai Venue ever since we got to know about it. But beyond its connectivity features, there's a lot more to a car, and that includes the way it drives, the way it looks, how it feels to sit from once you're in the cabin, and how the features are. Well, that's precisely what we are here to find out in the lovely state of Assam around Guwahati. And how is the Hyundai Venue in the real world? Well, that's precisely what we'll tell you over the next few minutes. Now, car buying is quite an emotional decision. So, striking the chords right here is very important for any car manufacturer when it comes to appealing to the consumer. And that means the design needs to resonate well with the consumer. So let's talk about the Venue, the way it looks. And to start with, yes, the moment you lay your eyes upon it, it is an absolutely fantastic vehicle to look at. It is unlike anything out there in the subcompact SUV market. You can see up front, there's this big hexagonal grille. Again, you've got this chrome element at the front, so gives it a sort of a premium feel. Apart from that, the party piece up front is the headlamp cluster. So what you get here in the lower part is a good looking LED DRL, and you've got, of course, the projector units inside. On the top part, you've got the side turn blinkers. So again, the sleek blinkers up here, and the integration of the headlamp in the lower part of the bumper is very different to what we are used to seeing on normal cars. That gives it a very different look altogether. The bumper, again, it's very sporty. It's got a lot of creases. It's a busy design, but it does not look overdone. It looks gracious, it looks nice, and it is pleasing to the eye, despite being the fact that it is quite a striking car to look at. So now let's talk about the side design. Now, on the side, you've got a typical boxy silhouette, which is a good thing because that's precisely what you would want in a subcompact SUV. And of course, there are these stunning 16-inch alloy wheels which have been shot with 215 section rubber. There's a strong shoulder line as well, and there are roof rails which add some sportiness to the overall side profile. At the rear, there's a cluster of smart looking tail lamps, and there's not much of a drama here. It's a clean design overall. Again, a strong line on the hood, and apart from that, you just have the badging that goes on. Overall, everything, every side, every panel in the car just merges and goes along well with the rest of the design, and what you get is a great looking subcompact SUV that, despite being small, looks absolutely smashing to look at. So let's talk about the performance bit for the Hyundai Venue now. And in terms of engine and gearbox options, well, Hyundai is offering quite a lot. So what you get is a choice between 3 engines. What you get is 2 petrol and 1 diesel option. So you have the tried and tested 1.4 litre diesel U2 CRDI engine and the 1.2 litre petrol engine. But the star of the show is the brand new 1 litre petrol engine. It's a turbocharged unit, and it comes with the option of a 6-speed manual gearbox or a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Now, we have driven the 1 litre petrol engine with the 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and I can tell you that it is absolutely a gem of a combination to drive. Now, if you talk about the gearbox, the DCT unit, it is not as aggressive as you would find the gearbox to be in the Volkswagen Polo, wherein you have the DSG. It's not that aggressive, but it is somewhere in the middle, wherein it finds the right balance between performance and fuel efficiency. And as a result of that, despite the fact that we were belting the car all through the way while we were driving it, we got an average fuel efficiency of 9.4 kilometers. And mind you, this is when we were driving the car frequently in manual mode, changing the gears way above 5000 RPM mark. So if you were to drive it in normal mode, you can expect your fuel efficiency to be past about 12 to 13 kilometers despite the fact that you would be driving briskly. In terms of engine performance, well, the engine is very smooth. It's a refined unit, and the NVH again is quite nice. There are some areas in the NVH where I feel there could have been some more improvement, but the motor fundamentally is quite smooth. So it in terms of the noise or in terms of the vibrations, there's not much intrusion into the cabin, and that's a good thing. So in terms of power, you always have power on the go whenever you need it. So overtaking on the highway, overtaking the long trailers will never be an issue at all. And even if you want to go ahead and have fun while driving, the motor is going to support you a lot. There's a lot to be extracted from this engine. It's got good power, and the power delivery again is quite nice. It's not really linear, so you do get a good dollop of power if you put your right foot down, and that's a good thing. So it will end up putting a smile on your faces if you decide to go really fast. In terms of drivability too, the motor again is quite nice. The pairing between the transmission and the engine is nice, and that means when you're in traffic or when you're in highway, in any conditions, you will not be bothered at all. The combination just does its job really well, and as a result of that, you can just have an effortless driving. The diesel unit is the same one that you would find in the i20. It's a tried and tested unit, and it works well in the Venue again. It is a little bit more eager than what you would find it to be performing in the i20, and here in the Venue, you can only have it with a manual gearbox. So the overall combination works well if you are going to do your daily city runs or the highway runs once in a while. The engine and the gearbox is going to keep you happy. The NVH is again quite controlled, but yes, in the diesel option, I do believe that there's a little bit more work that could have been done in the terms of keeping the NVH levels down. That said, again, it's nothing that you can really complain of. In most departments, the combination checks all the right boxes. Now, one area where the Venue has emerged as quite a surprising package for us is ride and handling. Now, in terms of handling, Hyundai has never been known as a manufacturer to really make sporty cars, and that has been the case with their previous cars in the Indian market, as we have seen. But things started improving with the new Verna that is on sale right now, and the Venue just shows the kind of improvement the company has made. So we have driven this car around Guwahati. We have driven it on really winding roads, and the performance has been impressive. Now, one good thing we noticed about the infotainment screen while we were driving is the way the graphics are shown to the driver. Now, if you're approaching a flyover, usually if you're using Google Maps or anything else, there's a bit of confusion as in, well, should I take the route up? Should I take the left? Where should I go? Up, down? On this screen, it clearly gives you a graphic representation of what route to take, and that is a very nice thing. It just makes it so much more easier for the driver. Now, we've driven this car around Guwahati on really twisty and winding roads, and the performance has been really impressive. The car is, of course, it has a short wheelbase. It feels nimble. It feels tight around the corners. The handling is good. There's not much body roll. And again, if you put into equation the DCT and the 1 liter petrol engine, the turbocharged engine, it is quite a fun package to drive. Of course, at this time, I must tell you that it is still not the car to buy if you are a hardcore automotive enthusiast. If you're an enthusiast, this is still not the car for you to buy. But yes, if you are someone who is looking for a car where you can have fun, you can still have a lot of features, and you do not want to compromise on practicality, you do not want to compromise on fuel efficiency, if you want all of that, the perfect balance, that's what the Hyundai Venue offers, and that's what the strength of this car is. Now the reason why Hyundai named this car Venue is because Hyundai believes that apart from your work and your home, the third place where most people spend the time is in the car. And that's why this has been named the Venue. So how is it from the inside? Well, if I start off with the front dashboard design, it is quite a pleasing sight. It's got a very nice texture to it on the top part. The plastic feels good. It is hard, but it feels good to touch. It does not feel cheap. It feels premium. The lower part is not as good as the top part, but again, it does not feel bad. It does not feel out of place. So again, in terms of material quality, yes, the Venue lives up to expectations. If I talk about the 8-inch touch screen here, again, a good looking screen. The touch response is good. The user interface is good, and it comes with all connectivity features you can think of or you would expect in this segment, like Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, your Bluetooth connectivity. All of it is there. But of course, the party piece that we have been talking about in our last videos as well and have been writing in our previous stories is the connectivity, the part where Hyundai Venue is supposedly the country's first connected car. So this comes with an embedded eSIM. It's a Vodafone Idea eSIM, and it comes factory fitted. That gives you access to a host of internet connectivity features, and the subscription for the first 3 years is completely free. So that is a really nice way to start off things for you as a potential buyer. The steering wheel here again feels quite nice to hold. It's got all the necessary controls right up here. So all controls related to the cruise control, the audio system, the instrument cluster, all of it is right here and is easily accessible. The instrument cluster itself has a good design and you can easily read it out under any circumstances. The lower dashboard here, the lower center console, again has a circular design. So all of your controls, including the display for the climate control, is circular. Looks good, looks a bit different. In the lower part, again, a lot of options. It's a rich experience when it comes to connectivity. So keeping your devices connected, that is charged, is also not going to be a problem. You've got a 12-volt socket here and 2 USB points, of which one supports fast charging, so you can keep multiple devices charged on the go. One other good thing here is that the Venue comes with wireless charging. So you just need to place your phone, provided your phone supports wireless charging, just place it here and no hassles of putting into a cable or anything of that sort. Now in terms of comfort, well, the seats are quite nice. The side support is quite nice, so even if you're going fast around corners, the seats are going to hold you firmly in place. The cushioning is good. So even over long journeys, the comfort is going to be good. In terms of space, again, the door pockets have ample space to stow away your 1-liter water bottles and still leave you with space for a little more knickknacks. The glove box here is quite spacious. You can easily put in some papers and some stuff, and you have a cavity here as well, which you can use to place some loose items. And one other good thing in the cabin is this air purifier. Now this little thing ensures that despite the outer environment being polluted, the occupants inside the Venue will be breathing in clean air. So now we're in the rear seat of the Venue, and this is what matters to you if you're buying this car from a family perspective. Well, if you talk about the seat in overall size aspects, it is quite nice. It is wide enough to seat 3 people. However, that would only be for a shorter period. It is going to be comfortable for 2 people mostly. The center tunnel here, again, the rise is not much, so that again would help the third passenger be relatively comfortable for a short while. Now in terms of space, well, I've got both the front seats adjusted to my driving preference, 5 feet 8 inches for reference, and you can see well, I do have some amount of leg room to spare. I also have space to slide my feet under in. It's enough for me, but this is not the segment best. So there are other subcompact SUVs which offer more legroom than this. So this is an area where the Venue is not the best in its segment, but it's not bad either. For most people, it should do the job. In terms of headroom, again, well, as I told you, 5 feet 8 inches, no problem at all. So even if you're a couple of inches taller than me, you will not find your head brushing against the roof. The seat backrest angle here is quite nice. So that's going to keep you comfortable over long journeys. And of course, the cushioning also is quite nice. The side support is good. And if you talk about the overall visibility, considering the fact that you also have a sunroof in the top variants, the feeling of space is quite nice. It does not feel claustrophobic. So despite being a small cabin, the designers have been able to ensure that the cabin does not come across as a claustrophobic one. You also have rear AC vents here, so again that's going to help you on those really hot days, and there's a 12-volt charging socket here as well to keep up any more extra devices charged if those aren't enough for you. So now that we've spoken about how the Venue looks, how it drives and how it is to sit inside the cabin and how the connectivity features work, it is time to give you a conclusion as in what's good about this vehicle, what's not, and what kind of value for money equation do you get. Well, in terms of overall VFM, this right now is the best. This is the new king of the subcompact SUVs, because if you look at the price range, the prices start from rupees 6.5 lakh and go right up till 11.10 lakh ex-showroom, and 11.10 lakh, mind you, is for this 1 litre top variant, which is the 1 litre turbo petrol engine with a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox. So you get a lot of kit for your money and a nice looking car. In terms of overall appeal, well, as you can see, it looks different. It sets a new benchmark in terms of design, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best subcompact SUV to buy in the market right now.